Alright, so this morning where I'm spraying some rust converter all over the frame and some of the other ancillary parts that are really heavily surface rusted, just to get that done, try to get it sealed up as best possible. Still some stuff flaking off. As you can see down here, this is the kind of thing we're seeing. Maybe a 1/16 to, I mean, worst case, maybe an 1/8 inch of scale coming off, which seems like a lot, but rust tends to expand, 6 to 10 times ish, I guess is what I've heard. Compared to, the thickness compared to the original steel. So if you're losing a 1/16 of an inch or 63 thousandths of an inch of material, you may have only had, 6 to 10 thousandths of material to start with. So it's not really substantially weakening any of this stuff, which is why I'm going to be salvaging, trying to keep this vehicle going for a little while. And the converter is drying. There's a fair bit of rust, but she's going. We got all of the door sills completely opened up on both sides, and I got my replacement metal, which isn't factory bent, but I think for what I'm going to do, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be good. I can show you the hole in the floor from the top today. Got a bucket sitting over it so no critters climb in, but that's it. And I got a piece of sheet tin that I'm going to cut up and make a cover for that. Most likely, I'm not intending to weld any of this stuff when I fix it, if I can help it. I'm intending to rivet it in with adhesive. Figure, what the hell, if it's good enough for McLaren, it's good enough for me. And because again, I'm not restoring this vehicle, I'm going to make it solid so that it functions. You see a couple of pieces on the ground here. The emergency brake doesn't work on this truck. The pedal works fine, but it doesn't apply. And here's my problem. The linkage from here to the driver's side emergency brake has rusted out and broken. So I disconnected it. Luckily, I guess, for this one, for me, this piece doesn't go that far up. It only goes up to here. And so I should be able to grab that whole assembly off of a car in the junkyard for a few dollars really easily. So that's not a big deal. 2003 to 6 or so. These things are all over the place in the pick apart. So that's going to be a fairly easy fix. Although I'm not looking forward to necessarily taking all this apart again because of the corrosion. I'm going to start hitting all these nuts and bolts and things with some sandpaper, or with a wire brush and some penetrating fluid, just to start getting them thinking about maybe that they want to come apart at some point in the future. The rear brakes, they're not new, but they're certainly not shot. So as far as the pads go, they've got a ways to go. The rotors really don't have much of a lip on them at all, considering. So for 125,000 miles, I think that's honest. This is not too bad. But that's pretty much the update today. My goal is to get the rust converter applied. After that, we're going to hit it with some rust encapsulator, and then maybe with some paint, just to try to keep it as clean as possible. And then I'm going to figure out how to take the doors off, and when I do my patching, because that's going to make things a lot easier than trying to work around, since that whole section from basically behind the rear door all the way to the front has to be replaced or patched. I'm going to try to take this off so I make it a little easier to work in that area, which ought to be also pretty fun, because of course there's electrical wiring and stuff in here, and you name it, what else. But so that's where we're at today on the old Copart Expedition.